right in the heart of a silver bullet.
Yeah. I think it's platinum, man. Don't bite these feet when they get to the lab. I feel a cold stare. Think I ain't looking. Maybe because I'm focused. No hands down for the hopeless. Funny bullets, I caught some shots. Another piece of the puzzle connected dots. You can find the truth of that and liquor. One more shot to an empty bottle. If you don't walk there like a model for me, like I don't see her intentions all in my scope. At a time we were just friends, with it right to land. That's the show, dead broke. Most think I know. Don't take my words, get back. Get you that raw dough. Just back, get you that raw dough. Back, get you that raw dough. To the people that listen to my repo, they know that I do care. Put their hands in the air, rockin' side to side. I'm all work, yeah, it's time to ride. Where my niggas at? My niggas ain't my niggas no more. Push me to the bag, label the change up his way. I do it for us, I'm for bad. Don't rock it the shit, yeah. Wouldn't be for all type of African shit. Just rock it, take my face, like I tell a man. Polo colors and black kings. Just polo colors and black kings. Exclusive shit, not get win. Keep it coming, just don't stop. The revolution starts with shot, bang.
And I'm gonna represent my people. And I don't want to be a bad representative. I can't be blind, because the blind lead the blind, they all fall shit.
Now my mama said, baby, act like you got sense. He act like I only act right for rent. Been living in purgatory, but I'm no longer heaven. Not sure if I'm getting in, cause I ain't paid the reverend. Who looking at me when I ain't looking, judging my character? I can't put down my guard on this planet, back in the camera. Ready for my close up, the lens gets bigger. Won't play me on BET, cause I am not a nigga. My heart is like a powder keg, ready to explode. Smell like strange fruit, cause I'm America's cologne. It started with the hello, think you're a nice fellow. You're ballin' like Carmelo, we treat you like Othello. LARs, we the stars, turn a rapper to a prophet. Bulletproof 306, keep your hands in your pocket. Jordan rules for my life, you contain them, can't stop them. I'm leaving sky high so the clouds can't drop them. My life is like a miracle, my words are just superior. I'm edible, I'm audible, I'm digital, I'm visual. Spit like Komodo, go like Bruce Lee, Roy B, and the mean as bad as Bobo in the dojo. Life is so amazing and raps like Jesus. They said hip hop is dead, but today look like Easter.
Salute, and welcome. Welcome back to the Black Ocean, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the Great Black Shark. And tonight, we got to touch on a couple of things here because as you can see on the display that you're looking at right now, we got confused, we got lost, we got unsure, unclear, perplexed, disoriented, bewildered. We going to talk about all that tonight because, see, this foolishness has gone on long enough as far as this topic is concerned, and I'm going to cover it in a way where the truth is going to be told, and I will let chilts fall where they may after I tell it because, see, today, unfortunately in America, a lot of this society has lost its last mind. It is gone. They are pushing all types of foolishness every which way towards every sector of society. Masculinity is under attack, and I'm just dealing with the black half. Every other community has their own advocates. So again, when I speak, I'm speaking for my community. Black masculinity is under attack. Black femininity is under attack. Our children are under attack. Every which way we look, we are under attack with all types of confusion because, as you know, one of our grandmaster teachers, our living elder, Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., okay, he has taught us that one of the main weapons that white supremacy has in its toolbox is creating confusion amongst our people, okay? So tonight we're going to be dealing with several aspects of that confusion, and it's long overdue for somebody to speak on it the way it needs to be spoken on. I'm going to do that tonight and see when y'all get to seeing this foolishness. I hope that those of you that catch this live or recorded will take the same stand that I'm going to take against it because, see, I'm going to say it like this before we get into tonight's broadcast. I don't care what people say. The sky is up and the ground is down. Your feelings don't change that. That is a fact. You can go outside, look at it, and verify it for yourself. That is a physical fact, okay? Now, today, unfortunately, we have a segment of our society backed up by the United States government that is facilitating people with their confusion and delusion, okay? And they're targeting our society with it heavily because they always want to experiment on black society with the foolishness. So we're going to get into a couple of things here tonight. We're going to break some things down. That's it. We're about to play a couple of clips, and I want y'all to pay close attention to what you're about to hear.
What is a TERF?
TERFs, or trans-exclusionary radical feminists, believe that in order to be a woman, you need to have been assigned female at birth, or a biological woman. They don't believe that trans women are women, and they see them as a threat to...
Because they're not. Because they're not. Salute to you, brother Norma X, and everybody else that will be joining us tonight. But no, you're not. Okay? And I'm going to say this like it needs to be said. I don't have anything against anybody in the LGBTQ whatever community. Okay? Because I know they add letters in the next 5 seconds. They'll probably add another letter. Don't have no issues and problems with you. Not afraid of you. Not wishing harm on you. Don't co-sign anybody trying to harm you any kind of way. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to play along with this delusion, okay? Not going to play along with that. You can feel like whatever you want to feel like. That doesn't mean that you are, okay? And see, it's gone on long enough because, see, today, before I let the rest of this finish, it's become a danger to women. And I'm going to tell you why. Natural born women. It's a damn shame we got to clarify that, but we're going to have to do it. It's become a danger to natural born women because now they're letting men who feel, air quotes, like women compete in women's sports. And it's getting to the point when it's contact sports that put women's lives in danger. Okay? See, co-signing this foolishness, and salute to you, Sister Patricia Jenkins. I see you coming in there. But see, a lot of women, and I'm just dealing with our community, were co-signing this behavior because they thought it was cute. And our grandmaster teachers have warned us about the imbalance in black society when we start accepting chaos as if it's order, because that's exactly what's going on when you see men who feel like women making these types of statements to the point where it's going to get really bad tonight. Like I said, I'm going to cover the whole spectrum on it. because I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired of people playing along with the confusion and foolishness. And then they tried to say that people who are telling the truth about something are saying they hate them. I'm saying it again. I don't hate nobody. But if you can consider somebody telling you the truth about something hate, then there's something wrong with you. Not only could you say there's something mentally wrong with you, that means that the truth is nowhere in you. Oh, we're going to get deep into that tonight. So I just had to go ahead and get that part out of the way. This whole, we don't consider you women, because you're not. You're a man. You're a man that thinks that you're a woman. It's your right to do that. You can do that. Nothing wrong with it. Until you start trying to force other people to see you as something that you are not. See, I can't help what you feel like. People have feelings every day, 24/7, 365. Can't help what you feel like. That's your right to have your feelings. Your feelings are your feelings. But your feelings are not reality. Nobody's feelings is reality. You take a broke person that wants to identify as a multi-billionaire and walk into a bank and say, hey, cash me out. I feel like a billionaire. I identify as one. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. Somewhere along the way, we lost that simple common sense fact. And we fed, and it's cruel. And, you know, I'm not even directing this towards the LGBTQ community, particularly the T class. Okay. It is particularly cruel for the United States government, the medical industry, and other organizations that exploit these people to make money off of them, because that's what the medical industry does. They exploit these people's confusion and delusion to make money off of them. They don't care anything about these people's well-being, but we're going to get into that. Let me let them continue here.
Womanhood, which is why they oppose trans women in women's only spaces, like women's restrooms and women's sports.
This belief continues to further endanger trans women in a society.
Before I deal with the mayonnaise confused one up here, I got to just that last point that the brother, yes, I'm going to say it, the brother was saying, okay, I don't care what kind of costume you put on, you're still a man. We do have a problem with you being a man going into women's restrooms, because we've already started to see that. There have been situations where when Barack Obama, thanks to him, signed that crap into law, these so-called men that feel like women were assaulting women. I'm going to tell you something. If I'm a father and I got a daughter, no, I'm not going, I wouldn't have my daughter going in any place like that, or my wife that have that, you know, nah. I tell you what you do. Here's the fair part about it. And see, watch this. I'm going to point something out here before I let this continue about the fairness aspect of this, right? Since they say they want to be treated equally and with respect, but they're some of the most disrespectful and dishonest people. Some, not all. They know who they are that we're talking to in the Hall T community. You can't say you're going to be, you want respect from people and you want honesty from people when you are not respectful and you're not honest. How about this? You say that that's what you want to identify as. Here's a solution to the problem. You don't need to go into the women's restroom. They can create restrooms just for you. That's right. It should be restrooms just for people in Hall T. And you go and use that one. You don't take yourself in there with natural born women. That's not where you belong. You're a man that claim or think that you're a woman. Doesn't mean you're one. That's not. Somebody tell me how that's unfair. Somebody tell me how that's unfair. Salute to you, Sister Linda Smith. I see you coming in there. Somebody tell me how that's unfair. Give them their own designated bathroom where they have one just for the T class. Again, no reason for you to be going in there with biological women. It's not at all. Let's let the mayonnaise T class here continue here, because we're gonna thoroughly break this down tonight.
Society that already tells them they're not valid. It creates more noise and misinformation surrounding them, which fosters violence and hatred. Although the word feminist is in the acronym, they're not feminists at all. True feminists stand for all women. Oddly enough, TERFs are generally accepting of trans men, but that's because they see them as biological women, which is problematic.
No. They're not either. I don't care which gender has the confusion. You are what you were born as. XX chromosome is female, XY is male. That's it. No amount of your feelings is going to change biological science. That is it. See, sane people still go by that. There are not hundreds of genders. There's only two. And we're not talking about the rare occasions where people are born on the rare, even that's so small, it's not even 3% of people that are born with disorders where they have both sex organs. But here's the thing about that: when they start trying to be disingenuous, there is not one person born with that condition where both sex organs work. It's either one or the other. And the one that works, guess what? That's what you are. Bottom line, as bad as that genetic disorder is, that's the truth. Don't take my word for it. I'll let you argue with the science for those that are confused on that issue. So here's the thing. Not only should they have their own bathrooms, but you should have your own sports league. Okay, cool. Like you said, you identify as a woman, toaster oven, a snowman, whatever you want to identify as. Create your own sports league. You compete over there across the board. There's just no, you don't need to be able to do that, because if you can do things as far as on a physical level that natural born women can't do, you should not be allowed to compete in their sports. This country has gone insane, man, with this foolishness, letting these people do this. And see, we're going to get to a lot more here tonight, but I'm going to let this person here continue speaking.
On its own.
Keep in mind that they are not to be confused with trans-inclusive feminists who accept trans women as women and understand the importance of intersectionality in feminism. Please share this post to spread knowledge.
Time out. I'm going to go here with it, ladies and gentlemen, because as you know, we are back on the main channel. Okay, and if you haven't already, I want to say it again before I get cooking with fish grease here. Please make sure you subscribe to my Rumble channel. I'm going to drop the link in the chat one more time here. Please get ready to subscribe to that, because, boy, if y'all think that I let loose over here on PukeTube, just wait till we hit 100 subs over there. We really going to burn the house down over there. But as far as this situation with the little Hall T class mayonnaise men that's been talking, I'm going to cover this on my main channel, because I will be speaking about the Brittany Griner situation. I'm going to be speaking about the results, the outcome of the Georgia Senate race also over there. But in particular to the Brittany Griner situation, right? Where was all them LGBTQ white folks advocating to bring that sister back home? And anybody find them? I don't remember seeing them make a whole lot of noise nowhere online or offline to get that woman released. But what they all finna get ready to do, they finna get ready to cash in on it. Or it's finna be a money grab all across the board. I will go further into detail on my broadcast about that this weekend coming up here. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a double hitter tomorrow. I'm gonna have a broadcast at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time and one at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, covering both those subjects, the Georgia Senate debate and the release of Brittany Griner. We're gonna break all of that down. But before I play this next clip, this is one my own co-foundational Black American brothers and our non-foundational Black American brothers that are on code too. This is one we're going to have to take a hard line in the sand against right here, because see, this foolishness right here, this cannot be tolerated. And I'm going to play it and y'all going to see exactly why I said it that way. I'm going to let her speak.
Oh no. The transphobia in my comment section needs to stop. Yesterday I posted a TikTok responding to this question: what are the red flags you look for in men? And one of them was if he wouldn't date a trans woman. Red flag. And
now, same flag. It's a same flag, because see, for these heifers like this, and this is a non-FBA chick, because a lot of them get caught up on the bandwagon of trying to do whatever's trendy with white folks. That's a bad problem that a lot of them have, especially their women. But heifer, no, it's a same flag, because just because a man claims to feel like a woman doesn't mean that he is a biological woman. And if there's a straight black man out here, straight black men do not want to date men that feel like women. There is no phobia behind that. That is the natural order of things. And just like they want to be respected for what they choose to identify as, which is their right, you're going to have to respect heterosexual black men for what we choose to identify as and what we don't deal with. That is the most insane, crazy thing ever, trying to force straight black men to choose to be with men that feel like women. First of all, you don't have any say over what we choose to do or not do. That's the first thing we're going to have to get cleared up. See, over here on this channel and my main channel, I'm going to start swinging hardball on a lot of these issues here, man, because see, you have so many brothers today that are just scared to say what the truth is. Now, I get it. We're restricted as what we can and can't say on these platforms, but it's gotten to the point of something that I encourage black men and women to never do. You don't sit and argue with a fool when you know exactly what the truth is. I'm not going to argue back and forth with somebody about what I know is the actual truth that I can see and verify with my own eyes. So no, and you can't shame straight black men into doing that. Most of them know that. But see, let me show you something about how white supremacy ties into this, right? Here's the thing. White supremacy ties into this because that's a part of their playbook. Tell a lie long enough, loud enough, and fast enough, and eventually some people are going to bow down and whittle down and accept it as truth. I'm here to tell you right now, straight-blooded, on code foundation of black American men and others that are non-FBA that have the same stance, that are heterosexual, are not going to accept that. That's just not going to happen. Now, you got to be some type of stark raving fool if you think that because a straight person does not want to date somebody from that community over there with all the different letters that they going to add every second, that means I hate you. See, if you claim to want equality for those in that community, because I know it's not all of you, but for the ones of you that are problematic, this is why I like the brother Flame Monroe. He's a part of the T-class community, but he don't play that foolishness. He called it down the middle like it is, and he checked the people from his community over there. You cannot force us to want to date you if you in that community. And that doesn't mean nobody hates you, because just think about how insane that would sound. You say you want equality. Do other straight people, men or women, say that people hate them just because they don't want to date them? Yeah, they're going to talk trash about it, but do they claim that that person hates them because they're not interested in them? Now, see, if you saying you want equality, then don't sound to me like you trying to be equal with it. And see, a lot of the violence that occurs in their community when they get to talking about all these numbers, about all the harm that's happening to them, the part that they conveniently leave out and be disingenuous about is a lot of the violence occurs because it's between other people in their community, because those are the most violent relationships, the ones over there in that LGBTQ community. And then the other part of the violence comes from when they try to fool people as if they're something they're not. That's the part nobody really wants to talk about and tell the truth about. We're going to tell the truth over here today. Let's let this little insane pepperhead fool over here finish.
My comment section? You get the idea. I can't put them all because there's too many. Let me break this down. Trans women are women.
No, they're not. No, they're not at all.
So if you're heterosexual and you're a man and you said you wouldn't date a trans woman because it's a preference, that's just transphobia, period.
No, ma'am, it's not. What it is me being heterosexual, me and every other straight black man. There's no phobia to that. See, words have meanings, okay? Words have meaning. I'm going to show you what's dangerous about this trend that we see society moving towards with this nonsense in particular. Words have meanings. The only way that they don't have meanings is if you regress back to a childlike state before children understood that words actually have meanings. There is no phobia in a man saying, I'm not trying to lay up with another man with a damn wig on. A man that's done went and had post-op surgery. There's no phobia in that. That's not what I'm attracted to. That's not what I'm into. Not ever gonna be into it. And ain't a damn thing that you can say to make me change my mind about that. Now, if you going to base your existence and identity off of fighting for respect and wanting equality, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you want respect for those of you over there in that community. You can't say you want respect, but not be willing to respect others. Okay? That's the bottom line on that. You got a right to do whatever you want if you grown, but you're going to have to respect others. You are not going to get rights at the expense of trampling on other heterosexual people's rights. Okay? And brothers, I know this go without saying. If you run across any heifer talking like this, turn around and go in the other direction. See, and that's for the brothers. let me go ahead and make a suggestion to you sisters too, because I'm making suggestions. I can't tell you what to do, but if you on code and you want to start to see some of this foolishness change, you better remember something I've always taught you all if you follow me on any platform. Our social capital is very powerful. With unacceptable foolishness like this, if the sisters start taking a hard stance and saying, okay, Alpha, we're going to ostracize you too, that means you just cut them off. See, let me show you how you know how to do it, right? Everybody always like to imitate other communities. Well, I'm going to take it back over here to the Jewish community for a minute and others, but we're going to highlight them because I see they're very strict about it. If you do something they consider off code over there in the Jewish community and they cut you off from their people, they don't talk to you, they don't do business with you, they don't hire you, you may as well be invisible. Now, our situation is not the same as far as the hiring part with economics. A lot of us don't control the employment aspects of our community that way. However, we do have social capital. We do have social capital, which we can wield with great authority if we're on code. Salute to you, sister, back to the basics coming in. I see you. We can wield that social capital with great authority and reject this foolishness like this, because see, women like this think it's cute until they're in a situation where they're in a woman's bathroom and one of these confused, deranged individuals comes in there and decides to be a man again and violate her. Or if she's competing in a woman's sports and he beat the hell out of her, okay? It ain't cute then. See, this should have never gotten this far in our community. Again, I can't control what's going on in other communities, but I have a say in what goes on in mine. We warned a lot of sisters that are down with this foolishness that it wasn't cute. Now, let's be clear on something. Let's be 100% clear, because I already know what a lot of people going to say. You're not going to be able to twist what I'm saying tonight as hate speech or me hating nobody, because some of us have gay people in our families that we won't let you do nothing to. Okay, but they're not trying to force themselves on other people. The greater majority not. Okay, so I know it's not all of that community. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to the natural order of things, when you start going against that, you're only going to get chaos. I don't care whether you're heterosexual or you're over there in the LGBTQ community. When you start going against the natural order of things, you ain't going to get nothing that resemble order no kind of way. It's not going to work. Now, you can pretend like it's not. You can feel like it will work. You cannot like it. You cannot believe it. Life will show you eventually that it does not work. It doesn't. So I'm going to let this busybody here continue to see. Oh, boy, we got a lot of ground to cover here tonight. Let's let it continue.
The majority of the time, our preferences are rooted in something problematic. It could be trauma, racism, transphobia. The list goes on.
Now the list don't go on. Now the list don't go on because somebody's preference is their choice. We have a right to make whatever choice we want to make, okay? And if that choice means that a heterosexual person don't want to live with somebody that's not heterosexual, we have that right. It is not illegal. That does not harm you in any kind of way. Nobody's hating you. Nobody's afraid of you. None of that. That just means, hey, whatever you do is your business and what I do is my business. That's it. That's all it means. When you start trying to flip it to mean something else, you're being completely disingenuous.
Want to find out what your problematic preferences are? Click the link in my bio and watch this video. I am now going to take you all through an example. This person asked why it's transphobic to not want to date a trans woman. Already starting off on the wrong foot by referring to cis women as regular women, then says something about trans women not being able to carry children. If that's your sole reason for dating someone, keep that same energy for all the women who are infertile.
Okay, so now y'all heard that over, right? With that foolishness that she was espousing there. Let's go ahead and tear that to pieces with logic, because that's what we're going to do on this broadcast here tonight. We're going to shred that foolishness with common sense and logic. First things first, one of the things you have to do when you fighting propaganda, particularly a lie, you have to make sure that you are strong and rooted in the truth, okay? That's the first step. Your first best weapon is to sharpen the truth when you're dealing with deception and lies. So now, once you sharpen the truth when you're dealing with deception and lies, first thing you have to take aim at is the deception at its core. And how you do that is these whole little terms they coming up with talking about cis women. I don't refer to straight women as that. They're just women. That's it. It's only one kind of woman. A natural born biological woman. It's not a cis woman or none of this other food, cisgender man. Nope. Natural woman, natural man. That's it. It's the only thing we're doing. We're not going to play that foolish game because, see, when you give them an inch, they take a mile. See, a lot of people don't understand when you start engaging that confusion, that foolishness, it just spirals into a rabbit hole that they've rehearsed over and over, and none of it makes any sense. And then if you start trying to use logic to engage with that, what's going to happen is they're not going to address any point you make because they already know it doesn't make sense from the jump. That's the first thing. You're not going to convince them or change them or nothing. They are rooted in their insanity, and it's willful insanity. So what's going to happen is you'll go on a rabbit hole of them jumping from one point to the next without addressing anything that you really said. Because we're going to really get deep into this here tonight. So what you do is, hey, I'm not finna play that game with you. Now, you can identify as whatever you want, cool. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be interested in you at all, in no type of intimate way whatsoever, at all. Can work with you, speak to you, be in the same grocery store, whatever. But we're not going to have no intimate contact. Now, if you trying to tell me as a person in that community that I'm wrong for that, or that you feel that I should change my mind, now you crossing the territory into sexual assault territory. Oh yeah, we're going to have to go here with it because, see, we understand this kind of talk. Imagine this. I know for my audience in here, very intelligent, you brothers and sisters don't have to be told this, but imagine for a second that this was a straight man, okay? And since we're dealing with our community, a straight black man telling women, well, hey, if you don't want to date me, you know, you man-phobic, you know, you male-phobic or something like that, so I should have the right to force myself on you. We would immediately recognize that as wrong. For you sisters in here that never thought about it that way, that's exactly what that is when it comes to dealing with men. This is why a lot of them find themselves in situations where they end up getting physically assaulted because you tried to fool a dude. So see, here's the thing, right? I'm going to put you up on some game. And those of you who are my Patreon subscribers, you know that I posted a very detailed article to help you spot these T-class folks. If that's not what you into, if that's what you into, do what you do. That's your business. If you're not into that, you might want to go sign up on my Patreon and check that article out, right? But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you my rule of thumb with it, right? I'm going to tell you what the shark does. If I got to look at you and I can't tell that you're a naturally feminine woman, well, I'm going to put you over there in the best not to even try because I don't know category. That's where you're going to be. And you can be as offended as you want to be. If you got that strong, I'm sorry, I get it. Folks can't help how they look, but if your face is strong and your voice is deep, hey, you might be. You might be a natural born woman, but I'm not going to take that chance. See, and for you young brothers, let me tell you something. For you young straight brothers, let me clarify who I'm talking to. I want to be very direct and very specific with my terminology here tonight. For you young straight brothers that's just now got into that club age, you might not better be hollering at these chicks in these clubs nowhere in the country, not just in certain cities, nowhere in the country at night when the lights is low. You better make sure you can see what you're trying to get at, because you might end up trying to roll up on the wrong thing, then you be in a situation. I'm just saying, it's better safe than sorry. Better make sure you know what you're dealing with, man. Because see, unfortunately, due to this rash of this foolishness out here today, the game done changed, man. It like for people that's out in the dating market, the rules have become very different. For the people that's out here now, you're going to be asked certain questions that you wouldn't have been asked before this madness took off, because brothers that are straight want to make sure we dealing with women. So, hey, it is what it is, ladies. If you're out in the dating market, just go in and prepare for certain types of questions to be asked for us to verify that. Hey, it's going to get to the point where, like, hey, let me meet some of your folks, man. I need to meet some of your people, man. Make sure, you know, we going to have to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to have to go there. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So now, here's the part that's coming up to the sisters that you're going to find really offensive. Some of you have probably already seen this, but when this came across my feed and my desk here, I said, oh, yeah, I can't sit here and not cover this. I got to touch on this here because, see, Again, just like the men are going to have to take a hard line stance against that previous clip that I just showed, you sisters are going to have to tighten up about this. I mean, it's going to have to be a zero tolerance with these people, and it's going to have to be direct, just like I stated, that nobody's hating you, nobody's advocating for harm against you, but we're not going to play along with your delusion. Ladies, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to give you a disclaimer before I play this for those of you that are in here or on your way in here, and those of you that may catch this recorded. Before I play this, you might want to sit down. You might want to do whatever routine it is that gets you comfortable and relaxed, because this going to raise your blood pressure when you hear this foolishness right here. So without further ado, I'm gonna let this man, because this is what this is. This is a man. I'm going to let this man speak his delusion.
This is what I mean when the transphobia just comes out, the audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood.
Now you see why I gave you that disclaimer, right? Yeah, that's where it's gone. Look at this man on this screen. This is a whole man in a wig with magic marker on eyebrows, and I'm gonna make a point about that in a minute. Magic marker on eyebrows, fake lashes, fake up, caked all up, lipstick, old man sitting here telling you, biologically born women, that you don't own periods or womanhood. When I told you that black masculinity and black femininity were under attack, I wasn't just saying that to be hyperbolic or to be verbose or to be cute or to say it because it sounds good. It really is under attack when you got a whole man telling you that you don't own a biological function that helps facilitate and create life that it can never have. This is war at this point. For somebody, look, it's one thing for you to say that you feel like a woman and that's what you want to identify as. That's your right. Go ahead, knock yourself out, do what you do. But when you come back with this kind of foolishness right here, telling women that they don't own periods or womanhood, I'm going to say it like it is. You are a brand new form of batshit crazy. You have really, look, see, ladies, look at the screen very closely. I'm going to make the point that I said I was going to tie this into. If you were over here and you caught my previous broadcast that was detailing to you about that look that makes men that are worth a damn not take you serious, this is the part that I left out of that broadcast for a reason, because I wanted to cover it here tonight. This look right here, if your regular look as a woman, when you put on all your accessories and attachments and your makeup, make you look like this is why men avoid you too, because trannies cannot look like you without all that excessive bullshit on their face. Yes, now do you get it? For those of you that like to shave off your natural brows and magic mark them on, like have these exaggerated damn batwing looking lashes, excessive makeup, all the weave, you look like them. They've hijacked that look from you. So now most brothers today, whether you know it or not, are like, you know what, bro? I'm not even finna chance it. See, it's not only that we don't prefer that, we got to think about that too. Like, yeah, that's their costume. Yeah. See, I'm just trying to tell you, man, that's their costume. That's their costume today. They have hijacked that look, and now they're running around rocking the uniform that used to be only for women, because that's the only way that they can appear to be what you are. They know without a bunch of makeup and the weave and the lash and all, they can't really fool you. Even if they have the surgery, you can tell that that's a man. Okay? You can tell that's a man. Even when they try to imitate your voices, those of us that are well studied on that, you can catch it. You can catch it. But see, I feel sorry for the younger brothers out here that don't have anybody to game them up, because see, man, look, I'm going to say something. Those surgeries that they're having, they're improving them. It used to be, you could just look at the Adam's apple or the jawline or the forehead structure or what have you, but they getting better with improving where you almost can't tell. I'm telling you, it won't be long. I'm gonna go ahead and make a prediction. Within the next 5 years, they're gonna have perfected that to the point where you really gonna have to be like, hey man, hold up. I need to talk to your folks, because you know they're trying to change it now where they're trying to alter their birth certificates where they can, so you can't count on that no more. I mean, look, they've really changed the dating game for a lot of you sisters out here that are actually trying to get good men. This is why a lot of the behavior from brothers is the way it is across the nation now. Brothers are trying to make sure that we get women. They're like, oh no, oh whoa. If I got to question it, never mind. So as far as your demeanor and your behavior, sisters, you better make sure it's as feminine as possible. Because see, I'm gonna tell you one giveaway about it. They're gonna be mad at this broadcast. One giveaway about these folks in the T class. No matter how much they try to pretend to be y'all, they're still men. So that aggression is going to come out somewhere, especially if they call themselves trying to hit on you or what have you, know what I'm saying? And it's going to come out. They ain't going to be able to fake that for too long, okay? I don't care how many hormones they take you, you're still a man. Ain't no way to get around that. And see, just like I was telling people about that BBL surgery, here's the other thing that I sympathize with those who have, I'm going to put it this way, those who feel like they're women. The medical industry doesn't care about them because they don't even really sit them people down and tell them that, hey, look, once you get on this hormone therapy, and if you lapse in it for a certain amount of time, you're going to start feeling depressed, suicidal. I mean, this is well documented. We've seen too many cases of it where them people end up deleting themselves because their hormones are all out of balance. And nobody sat them down and really explained to them that, hey, if you do this, you messing with something that God set in a natural order, and you going to get chaos when you do that. Look, that's why I feel bad for them, man, because the medical industry is taking advantage of them because they can get paid off of doing this. You have to be despicable to do that. You know, these people have a lot of mental issues 9 times out of 10 with that particular T-class section. They have a lot of mental issues. And instead of you actually trying to get them the mental health counseling they need, you go and advocate helping them mutilate themselves and put them on all types of drugs. That's absolutely despicable, man. So if you are a brother or sister out there in that community, you better be mindful about that before you take them steps. I mean, hey, it's one thing to just rock the costume, but I would not advise you to go and get on that hormone therapy, and I wouldn't advise you to go trying to get that surgery neither. You might better just, hey, find you somebody else that's into what you into and leave yourself as you are. So that way, should you decide to stop doing that, okay, or you have a change of heart about that, you won't have screwed up your hormonal makeup naturally, and you won't have mutilated yourself, okay? Make the decisions where if you choose to go another route, you're not going to be all screwed up from doing it. That's all I'm telling you as your brother, because I love all my people. No matter what you choose to do, I want you to be safe doing it. But we're going to have to tell the truth over here with this dude over here talking about women don't own periods and womanhood. I'm going to let him finish.
You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a sister,
no, they're not different for every person. They're different for every biological born woman, which does not include you, sir. You cannot have a period. You will not ever have a period. If they try to come up with some demonic, twisted way to simulate you having a period, it is going to cause more damage to your body than you could even imagine. God don't play about what he said in order. I don't care what faith you are, what you believe or don't believe is not important. You don't have to believe that a tornado can blow your ass to kingdom come for it to actually do that. You don't have to believe in the wind for it to exist. So it's not about what you believe, it's about what is. Let's let him continue.
This woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it. Like, hello?
Actually, they can gatekeep it because biological and natural order dictates that they do, because you're not ever going to have one. I don't care what kind of fantasies you have in your head. And see, this is how bad it's gone, because see, the average person would think that this person is just saying that just to say it. No, this man actually does believe, probably will tell you that he's experienced having a menstrual cycle. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. That type of mental illness, it's gone beyond just a mental disorder. It's gotten to the point where it's actually terrifying to see this. Because see, me, just speaking for myself, and tell nobody else how to feel, me looking at this man on this screen made up in a woman's wardrobe, in a woman's costume, shall we say. That right there lets me know that something is broken in you. And see, they don't really want to admit it, because a lot of them, for them to get this way, you don't just come up and say, hey, I want to be a woman. That no. Usually is somebody in their family or a close family member that have touched on them when they was a kid. They don't want to admit that. They know it's the truth. That is the truth. That screws a child up. This is why I'm hell on pedophiles and people that do things to children in both genders. You are the most despicable demons on the planet, because you get this. This is what you get, especially when it goes undiagnosed and untreated. They don't get the proper therapy for that trauma that's inflicted upon a child that's been sexually assaulted at an early age. This is what they turn out to be. And in case you think I'm lying, this is where I will commend this brother for being truthful about his story. And you all can go and Google this and look it up, man. Oh man, it's very graphic. I will caution you before you do. But for those of you that are familiar with Billy Porter, okay, the gay brother Billy Porter there, read his open letter that he wrote. You can find it by Googling it, on what he said happened to him in his childhood. Oh my God. That right there, brothers and sisters, man, that is horrific, man. But I commend him for putting that out there, because he's telling the truth about what a lot of them don't want to admit. You were violated when you were a child. That's really the only way that you get to be like this. That's just the truth of it. That's just the truth. No disrespect. So now that we dealt with that, I'm going to play something else here that I want y'all to study. And I'm going to caution you this. I'm going to give this disclaimer on it. Before I play it, never mind the messenger. We're going to focus on the message. We're going to get the lesson from the message. It's not really about the messenger, because the way he did this was very masterful. Some people take issues with the brother, but we're going to use what he said, the information he's talking about, to teach a lesson here. So with that said, I'm going to let it play.
Good try. You have to bifurcate it. Did she deserve the honor? Probably not. Is she brave? Of course she's brave. All those years invested as this sports legend to come out transgender.
Now, let me make this clear, too, because this is going to be later in the portion. When I said the brother, I'm not talking about who you're about to see on the screen here, not this little tiny white supremacist, but I included this because this is one of the few times where I do agree with what he's about to say. The next part where I was talking about the brother that we're going to get the lesson from, it's going to be later in the presentation. I want to make sure I clear this up before y'all see the person that's about to speak. Y'all be like, what you mean, GBS? Is this a brother now? No. This ain't a brother, but the truth don't care who tell it. So, yes, what you're looking at here, this is a man on the screen, but I want you to see who the man is going to be talking to. Just hold on to your horses.
Is horribly difficult. It is the most difficult thing you can do. I've been overseas. I've flown helicopter missions, surveillance missions. I've been shot, stabbed. Being brave is being yourself, and being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do. No,
it's not. No, it's not. There's nothing brave about you pretending to be something that you're not. There's nothing brave about that at all. Now, you can probably say it would take a measure of courage for you to just say what you really are and go ahead and do it. But as far as you actually doing that, no, that don't really require no courage, sir. It just does not.
Deserve the award? Yes.
Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why would you call it delusion?
Because Bruce Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner. No.
Yes, I know. I apologize in advance. This is Ben Shapiro, the one that I said we are not calling a brother. Want to make that clear yet again, but listen to what he's saying, because the truth does not care who tells it.
It's her. You're not being polite to the pronouns.
Because
disrespectful.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that every...
I have to agree with this little beady-eyed weasel. The facts do not care about your feelings. They absolutely do not. And all this crap about your pronouns and all of this, yeah, I hear you. But I'm not going to call you something that you're not. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not. I'm not. I refuse to do that. I'm not going to do it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect you, but you're not going to force me to play along with your delusion. I'm going to tell y'all why that's such a big deal. But what they're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to point out something before we play the rest of this clip and get on with the broadcast. How many of you in the chat are familiar with Pavlov's dog, okay? The Pavlovian dog term, you heard that before? Well, what happens is when you let somebody condition you into calling something one thing when it's something else, that is programming your mind. Do you understand that you don't let nobody play with your mind like that? This foolishness that we're witnessing right here is one of the greatest psychological manipulation experiments to ever take place in all of American history. Okay? This is why other countries look at America like, y'all have lost y'all damn mind. You got men running around talking about they feel like women and women talking about they feel like men. The rest of these countries like China and a lot of other places, that's why they're like, nah, you can keep your little financial aid money or whatever if you're thinking that you're going to force this on us because we want to hold on to our sanity. I'm just saying it is what it is. But let's let Ben Shapiro continue right here. Listen to what he's saying.
Chromosome. Every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male with the exception of some of his sperm cells. It turns out that his brain structure is male. It turns out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological sex.
I don't agree with that. I'm not on that train. I'm not on that train.
Listen to this Sambo right here. And see, you know what? A lot of people have been asking me this. Oh, yeah, I'm going to like Van Jones and a couple of these other, the usual Sambos rolling and the rest of them up too. Be looking for that in the this coming week here. I'm going to get on them too because, see, before we get on to the rest of what we're talking about here tonight, these clowns like this, and look at this look here, similar to Van Jones, the bald head, the little old Poindexter glasses, the little old metrosexual look that he got going on here. These clowns right here on these network television stations are becoming a problem. Salute to you, Project Leroy. I see you in the chat there, brother. These jokers have become a problem because they've been trying to speak for black manhood and represent us as black men. We are going to have a unified on code nationwide movement to denounce the Stephen A. Smiths, the Van Jones, the Roland Martin. We're going to have to look. This is why I'm glad Brother Tariq is holding that LBA Expo in Texas coming up here in 2023 here. And I think the brother said he's going to have it in March. We're going to have to get serious about this. Nationwide, it's going to have to be a movement to let these people know that just because you put this flunky on TV, you don't represent black men. You don't. See, this shit eater right here, yeah, I'm calling him that because that's what we call him down here in the South. This shit eater right here is the epitome of a buck-broken Sambo that just go along with whatever the dominant society say. And they make sure they find one just like that to put in there. He hops up, ours ain't with that. No, eyes all broken. I don't agree with that. I agree with, Master, what do I agree with? Oh, yeah, I agree with. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are. We're going to have to draw a line in the sand between us and them, man, because, see, they are not going to be allowed to represent the black male image, the straight black male image in America. These are embarrassments to our people, and they are not examples of what young black men should be looking up and looking forward to as far as becoming leaders in our society. We're going to take that back from them. They may have these mainstream media networks, but I'll tell y'all something. Throughout history, the reason why I'm confident that we're going to snatch that narrative back and correct course on this, change comes from the bottom up, not from the top down. They can construct whatever measure they want to at these corporate media headquarters and try to push it down to us. But if we reject it and never accept it, it will not take root. But that's it. I'm going to let this fool continue here.
She wants to be called she. I'm going to call her she. I just have a problem with the message and the messenger.
So well, let's I'm going to do two things. I want to reiterate what Zoe said, which is the bifurcation of the courage to come forward after a lifetime as a male and a certain kind of a male versus did she deserve this award? Listen, the awards, what are award ceremonies except an opportunity to catch some eyes?
Especially the ESPN.
So, yeah, it's like ESPN, well done, ABC. Yeah. They did exactly what their job was, to attract eyes. They did it. That's what award ceremonies are for. But in terms of the science behind gender dysphoria, you're very familiar with that, Zoe.
Very familiar.
It's not about the chromosome. Excuse me, the chromosomes within our
both know
nuclei. Yeah, go ahead.
Chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
Bullshit. The hell they don't. Yes, they do. Just because you don't like that biological scientific fact does not mean that it's an accurate scientific fact. That doesn't mean that it's not accurate. Just because you don't like it. And salute to you, Sister Sheena Fox, Sister C. Terry coming in. I appreciate the correction, sister. That's right, family. The FBA Expo is going to be in May of 2023, Memorial Day weekend. I appreciate that correction, sister. But yes, you know, just because he doesn't like that biological scientific fact does not mean that it goes away or it gets altered somehow. And see, I'm going to say something to these white men. I know I'm particularly talking to my community tonight, but I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people not going to like what I'm about to say. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. But y'all know I really don't care about offending folks when I'm telling the truth. White men, straight white men, what you looking at right here on this broadcast and this stream, you got a problem. You got a problem. See, I know it as a black man, but I'm going to tell you something. You got a problem when this is the face of white manhood. You should know better because, see, I'm going to tell you something. I'm surprised they let him get on air like that, being as vocal about this as he is. Because, see, I'm just going to say it. This ain't a good look, man. The face of manhood for any race is not supposed to have a damn wig and a dress on trying to be like the women. If that is what we're going to represent as manhood across any race of male society, okay, any race, then what are you teaching the young boys coming up? What image of protection and confidence does that give to the women when they see the men want to be like them? Ladies, let me ask you something in this chat. Whether you listen to this live or recorded, do you have confidence? I don't know. Let me put it more direct. Would you have confidence if tomorrow morning when you woke up, whatever city, state you in right now, if you woke up tomorrow morning and all the men that you saw in your city, in your state, got up and looked like this, how much confidence would you have that you're going to be protected? How much confidence would you have that there's going to be order in society? Would you feel safe in an environment like that? So somebody let me know in the chat. Tell me if you would feel safe, put a thumbs up. If you would not feel safe, put a thumbs down. I want to see something real quick. Let's see, I want to figure out if I'm just running my mouth up here. I'm just saying something if I got it all wrong. How many of y'all would actually feel safe if you seen the men around you looking just like you? I'm going to take it a step further. Oh, yeah, I know y'all be like, oh, he got jokes tonight. But, hey, what would you think if, you know, for you sisters in here, natural, respectable women, what would you think if when you got ready to go get your makeup, you got ready to go get you some nice lingerie, your feminine products, and now you got to fight with a bunch of men that feel like women? What would you feel like when you get ready to go get your sanitary products and they tell you they've all been sold out because a bunch of dudes that feel like women came in there to get your stuff? I'm just wondering how women would take that, because you know, I mean, look, I'm just saying they done already told you that how dare you biologically born women think that you have the right to own periods and womanhood. I mean, he told you. Now I'm just, hey, he put you on notice that, you know, that biological function that you have. Hey, look, he gonna need to come in there and get all the pads, because you don't have no use for that. You don't control that at all. So I'm just saying, you know, he told you what it was. I wonder how many of y'all would, you know, be okay with that, you know, because see, it's gonna get to a point, ladies. I cast all facetiousness and humor aside. We're gonna have to rein this in. We're going to have to rein this nonsense and foolishness in. It's going to have to be put to a stop by the people. And I'm talking to my community, but communities across the board are going to have to get a handle on this foolishness. These people can do what they want and identify how they want, but when they start becoming problems, particularly with this issue where we see them constantly sending these T-class members into these schools to read to children and trying to demonstrate things to them. I got some content coming up about that I'm going to put on Rumble because that's the only way I'm going to really be able to go in on that. Again, if you have not subscribed to the Rumble channel, I'm going to put that link in the chat because over there, I found out they'll let you go in like the rest of these platforms won't. I got some choice words for something that I discovered that's downright sickening regarding that T-class going in these schools, but I digress. Ladies, I'm telling you again, before I let this play, you better watch this tonight and really consider the fact that you're going to have to take a hardcore stance against a lot of this foolishness. I'm going to let this continue because we're going to get to a really thorough breakdown of just how far gone this insanity is.
With gender
identity. Go ahead. No, so
especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
Would you actually like to discuss the genetics? Or no?
Well, no,
what
no.
are your genetics?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Woo! Oh boy, did you see what this dude sitting up here looking like a professional wrestler in a wig? Hey, he looked like Goldust a little bit, man, without the paint. Look, I got to get these jokes in. That's right. If you're going to do this, I got the right to joke about it. Look how terrified Ben Shapiro is with his little scrawny self. This is a big old swole buff she-man over there looking like Goldust without the makeup. Okay. He grabbed Ben by the neck and told him, if you don't cut that out, you going home in an ambulance. Hold on, LGBTQ folks. You gonna threaten violence against people for them speaking their opinion and their words? I thought the whole thing was that you didn't want to be harmed and you didn't want people threatening violence against you. But here's a member of your big swole buff community threatening to harm little old scrawny Ben Shapiro. Now look, Ben Shapiro is a prick. I get it. Anybody would want to bust him in the mouth, but he's just talking. He has the right to his opinion. Don't threaten to beat the little weasel up, little strong buff man. I ain't gonna lie, he look just like He-Man in a wig. Look at the look on his face. Look, family, look. Cause you know me. Every now and again, we're gonna have to have some fun with these lessons. I want you right now, my audience in the chat, zoom in on their faces. First, look at Big Swole Goldust without the makeup over there. Look at how he's looking in Ben's face like, I will intimately, physically destroy you, Ben. Really gonna put you in that ambulance, you little weasel, you. And look at Ben looking at him like, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Ben Shapiro looks just like a little lab rat, don't he? He really does, man. I feel bad for the guy at this point, man. But the bottom line is, hey, LGBTQ folks, you need to admonish this big buff buffoon over here, man, trying to harm this little old lab rat over there just because he don't like what he said. That's not right. Shame on you. Your community better get this under control. I'm sorry, family. They gonna get these jokes. These ridiculous foolishness they try to push on us. They gonna get these jokes. They gonna come out here with this foolishness. We got the right to joke about it. That's a part of equality. You don't like it, you're in the T class. Oh well, that's what equality comes with. Straight people get joked on all the time. You gonna get these jokes too. Because I'm not threatening harm. I'm actually saying that you should get this member of your community from trying to harm this little lab rat for speaking his mind. Family, I'm just saying, let's let him continue.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well, but wait. To be fair, you're actually being kind of rude. And that's not fair.
I'm sorry, it's not rude to say that someone who is biologically a male is a male. Someone who is biologically male is a male.
But Mr.
You tell him, Ben, don't you let that dude punk you out like that. You stand up for yourself, little lab rat. Don't you take that. And look at this Sambo over there in that gray suit with his little butt broken by. You know what it is? I just figured out something. Uh-oh, family. I know why the little Sambo over there with the bald head, the little Van Jones, little brother, I know why he's defending him. He want to date him. That's what that is. Yeah, I think he might want to step up. That's probably what the business. Hey, look, that's his business if he want to step up now. It is what it is, but boy, look at that. Look, that joker got them legs crossed, man. He-Man with the wig is pissed off. Ben, don't you take it. Don't you take it, Ben.
Piro, you knew very well that saying that to Zoe would be egregiously insulting.
I know, family. You wouldn't have believed that if I hadn't put that in there. But now that we got the jokes out the way, serious business here, though. Our brother Umar, again, I'm going to give the disclaimer. I understand that he said a lot of controversial things. Yes, I will be touching on those comments he made about reparations on my main channel. We're going to break that down. We're going to also be breaking some things down about Mr. Derrick Jackson, too. Oh, yeah. We're going to get in deep with that. But as far as right here tonight, I had to put this in here because I want y'all to analyze what Dr. Umar is about to discuss here. And I want you to take notes on this call and this discussion he's going to have with some members of the LGBTQ community. Okay? Now, it's going to go into showing you how illogical and irrational some of that community can be. And I want y'all to really pay attention to this, right? Let's take notes here.
Not be disrespectful. So as somebody in the community, I will say
somebody in what community?
In the queer community, that
okay.
Your approach is a bit harsh in terms of your language.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I'm here to be educated, my brother.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I'm here to be educated, and we're here to educate you guys as well. And of course, we all coming in the spirit of respect. Now, when I ask people if they are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, or heterosexual, I'm asking that so I can understand their personal frame of reference. So, for example, last night's conversation was about light skin supremacy and dark skin supremacy in the black community. So everyone who came on, I asked them, are you light skin, brown skin, dark skin, or mixed race? So I need you to explain to me, my brother, when I ask you, are you homosexual, bisexual, trans woman, or heterosexual, why is that considered harsh?
Now, you heard what Umar just asked the person on the phone here. Now, Umar was respectful. He stated why he was asking the questions, and he's doing so from a place of good faith. Now, I want you to pay attention to the response that he gets, and you tell me if the response adds up to the way Umar just presented those questions.
Because that language is for you. I said I'm in the queer community, so that.
Okay, so how does, and again, I want you to educate me. You're in the queer community. How does queer differ from homosexual, bisexual, trans woman? Queer means what? Educate me.
Just in the community. I mean, you will really have to sit down and you're trying to talk political, so I'm trying to talk politics too.
Okay. Well, tell me what it means to you to be queer. Because when you say you're queer, you're saying that you're not. Are you saying that you are or you are not homosexual, bisexual, or trans woman? When you say queer,
I'm not straight.
Okay, you're not straight. Stay with me. Okay, because I'm learning. I'm learning. You're not. Stay with me.
I am.
Okay, you're not straight. I got that part. You're not homosexual either. Is that correct?
Yeah, see, that's where it's funny, because I'm sure when you say homosexual, you're talking about two cis men, right? Two gay men.
No. When I say homosexual.
Now, remember what I stated to you earlier in this broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. When you try to use logic to make sense of nonsense, look at how he can't directly answer the question. And see, here's the reason why, for those of you that might catch this live recorded that are in the LGBTQ community, this is why a lot of people don't really want to engage you in discussions, because if we're going to have honest conversations, respectful conversations, you can't come into the conversation with deception. And when somebody asks you a straight question and you start moving the goalposts, tap dancing around about it instead of just directly answering the question, we really can't entertain you as far as having any discussion, because it's not in good faith. It's a waste of time. But let's let them continue.
For me, a man having romantic interactions with another man is homosexuality. No. So you do not have relations with other men.
No, I don't.
Okay, so you're not homosexual. So which automatically means you can't be bisexual, right? Because if you don't have relations with men, you're not bisexual either. You're not a trans woman. So help me out, my brother. You see me trying to get some clarity from you. What does queer mean? That means your sex is what? What do you do? What is queer? We trying to learn from y'all now. Y'all can't get upset at us, and we trying to understand you. What is queer?
Yeah, so you're trying to understand, right?
Queer, yes. What does queer? You said you're queer. What does...
You're trying to understand what I do in the bedroom or what my political ideology is?
Both. What does queer mean? Sexually, what is a queer? I would like to know that. And politically, where do you stand?
So queer...
Now, see, when somebody asking you direct questions and you can't give them direct answers like this dude on the phone is doing here, this person on the phone is doing here, at this point, people look at you as a clown or not an adult because, see, adults are able to answer direct questions. It don't take all this for you to just state a direct answer. You know what this man is saying. Now you gaslight like you don't understand the question that he asking you. You can't make it no more plain than that. He being respectful and patient. But I want you to see how a segment of their community acts when you get into these types of discussions with you, and to show you why it's really not even worth having them conversations when they react this way.
By definition means weird and has been, you know, reclaimed to an extent politically and socially and culturally by the quote unquote non-heterosexual community, because there's lots of labels and ways in which people identify. It's not very stringent as the quote unquote LGBTQ alphabet, but queer just means pretty much, you know, outside of the norms, outside of the stringent relations. So
I got talking
about outside of that.
Okay, question for you. So you could engage in homosexual relations as a queer person, correct?
Sure.
Okay, gotcha. So queer is you're not choosing any specific. You're not choosing homosexual. You're not choosing bisexual. You're just queer. You're outside of the heterosexual dichotomy.
Absolutely.
I got you.
That's a pretty good, like, intro.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. I assumed by your voice that you were born a biological male. Was I correct in that assumption?
I would probably stay away from assumptions.
Well, okay, no. Well, what were you born? Were you born biologically a man or a woman?
I also would challenge this idea that those are the only two options, but we haven't gotten to the politics. So are we doing
we going right to the politics, but can I get some clarity on that though, my brother? Because again, y'all cannot be hypocritical. And what I mean by that, when we're trying to understand you, now we might forever disagree, but I at least want to understand you. There's people who disagree with me, but I at least want them to understand me. I don't care if they disagree with me.
And see what Umar just said right there is something very important that we have to get the mastery of, and especially B1 spaces when we conduct ourselves to the point where we're discussing things that we don't necessarily see eye to eye on. That's fine. We're supposed to have different opinions, different beliefs, but we should be able to communicate in an adult manner in such a good faith way that we're able to understand one another. Just because you understand somebody doesn't mean that you have to agree or disagree with what they're saying. And understanding is just clarity for the sake of having effective communication. And if you're trying to have a good faith dialogue for the purposes of solving a problem or just reaching an understanding, you have to have honesty. All this duplicitous double talk and all this foolishness of gaslighting, pretending like he don't understand what's being said to him, that ain't it. And if anybody tries to engage you in that, for me, I just disengage. I'll be like, all right, I already see what you're on. It's not even worth having a conversation with you.
But I want them to understand what they're disagreeing with. I don't want them to disagree with me for what I really stand for, not for what you think. So when you just said you would disagree that man and woman are not the only two gender options at birth, could you give me some additional gender assignments that can occur at birth? Because I thought you could only be born a man or a woman. So how else can you come out of your mother at birth?
Well, firstly, you were born a baby. Secondly, as regards your sex, there are also intersex individuals who are anywhere it is a spectrum in terms of your biological or your physical makeup, whether that's your secondary sex characteristics, your hormonal levels, your genitalia, all of these things.
I understand. Some folks are born Some folks are born different. What were you born?
Okay.
What were you born?
I was assigned female at birth.
Okay, you were assigned female at birth. And how do you, I know you mentioned queer. Now, is queer sexual orientation or is queer also a gender preference?
Yeah.
It's both.
It's all the above.
It's all of the above. Okay, so when you say you're queer, you're not assuming man and woman, and you're not assuming any particular sexual orientation.
Facts.
Got you. Thank you for that education. Give me your politics, my brother. What is it that the heterosexual black community needs to understand about you in particular and the black LGBT movement in general? Give us some political positions.
The first thing black people need to understand is that the experience of black people is their primary experience, period.
Okay.
Just like you cannot choose to be heterosexual before you choose to be black, right? If that is a choice you make,
okay,
you are seen as black before anybody knows what you got going on.
I agree.
The blackness is just the experience.
Now, that's one thing it seems that all of us agree on so far. Yes, you are black first before anything else. Let's let them continue.
So I think it is, even though it may not be intended to be disrespectful, to ask somebody if they're gay first or if they are black first, it is a facetious point at this point.
I don't think it's facetious though, my brother. And the reason excuse me, my sister, the reason I'm saying that, and I want your response, is because a lot of black LGBTQs, they wave that flag and they only come out to protest or stand up when it involves the sexual agenda. You don't see them when it involves regular black issues. I'm not talking about all of y'all, but I don't think you can call it facetious. We cannot assume that black LGBTs feel that they are black first, because I've heard black LGBTs say that they were not black first, I've heard some say they were gay first or queer first. I've had others say that they were both. So
he's absolutely right. And therein lies the problem when it comes to those of us that are on code and trying to get certain things done as far as producing justice for our community, as far as us getting tangibles. We who are on code are moving under one accord of being black first. Okay? Black first. And then if you really want to get more specific when it comes to reparations, we're moving lineage first. Okay? Lineage first when it comes to the reparations. But for those of you in the LGBTQ community, for those that actually want some type of understanding, I want to say that as one of the members of the Voices New Black Media here, I want to make this clear. If you have gotten the understanding that you say, okay, I identify as what I identify as, I'm not trying to force you to be intimately interested in me. If you got that part clear, good. That's half the battle. The other half of the equation is, just like when it comes to tethers, just because you look like me, it does no good if you're not on code with me. So we do not put our sexuality ahead of our race. We are black first. The minute that you go to the left, the right, up under that, then we're not on the same page. At that point, you own another agenda that is not the same as the agenda that those of us who are on code and black first have. And that's where the problems come in at. And see, just like the situation with Brittany Griner, you doing that for interracial sexual access, then people don't go to bat for you when you're in serious situations. They use you as mascots. You don't get any large portion of the money when they use you for their different organizations and causes. They put you out as front because you have the loudest voices, but they don't break bread with you. So you're not even benefiting from it. Only thing you getting out of it is to lay up with them white folks. But that's mostly what y'all going after. You can tell a lie all you want to. We've seen it. That's the only benefit that you get. So my question, an intelligent question I would ask to you, no matter what you choose to do, why not get something else tangible out of it? Especially when it comes to these reparations, because see, that white LGBTQ community, they are just as anti-black and white supremacists as the straight white community. They all on code against you. As our grandmaster teacher Nelly Fuller said, when they get out of bed, the white folks, with black people, they don't get out confused. Only the black person ends up getting out confused because you tend to think that you're a part of this other group. And for them, it's just something to do. They switch political groups, sexual orientation, as far as any of this stuff, like this even goes to these people that jump with and get with these white folks talking about we all 2A advocates and all of that. Nothing wrong with being a 2A advocate, but you better understand this. No matter what group, political affiliation, sexual orientation these people claim to put on, they take that off just like you take off jackets. Because at the end of the day, you know what they don't take off? They are white first. They're W1, white first. So if you not B1 and you come over here where we at, we really can't rock with you like that. You're going to have to go somewhere else because you're not on code with us. Let's let them continue.
Not everybody in your community, good sister, assumes black first.
Out of respect, Prince.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it to a strict he, him pronoun on this stage.
Okay, I got you.
Make things super simple.
Okay.
And I hear what you're saying. I would urge like people in the crowd, yourself included, to do a little bit of a digging because there are quite a few queer, homosexual, gay, whatever you want to call them, leading figures in terms of black liberation politics.
Oh, I agree with that. But don't confuse the individuals with the group, though. You understand?
No,
that's just like saying you know a couple gangster rappers who don't spew misogyny in their music, or you know a couple gangster rappers who don't promote light-skin supremacy. Just because you might know a couple rappers who don't use profanity in their music, the truth of the matter is the hip-hop genre, you understand, is a very skin color prejudiced community. You understand? So you can't say just because a few people are looking out for the whole black community, that means the whole LGBT family is looking out for the whole black community. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Absolutely correct. Because see, this is the problem that you have to tell people when it comes to dealing with race. Are there some good people in the white community, Hispanic community, Asian community, East Indian community, Caribbean community, continental African community, okay? The Arab community. Yes, there are. But those handful of people do not represent the collective. And see, this is the problem that a lot of our people have, particularly these bedbugs and bedwenches. They get with a couple of people in those different communities that are individuals that are good, and then they take that individual being kind to them or being able to be trustworthy towards them as if now I'm just going to give everybody in that group a pass. And I'm going to tell you something else that I'm going to have to do a broadcast breaking down, and I already know that one is going to offend a lot of people. But it's also that way when it comes to religion. I might have to be the one to tackle that because I'm going to say it again. Whatever makes you a better person, I'm all for it. I don't disrespect anybody's religion. But one of the main problems that we have in black society is the misuse. E-word, misuse of religion. So that will be coming in a future broadcast. Be looking out for that. I want y'all to finish listening to what Brother Umar is going to say here, because I had to include this because I want you to see the leaps and bounds of insanity that these people are going to go through with him while he's trying to address them in a good faith conversation. Because if you think this call he's dealing with now is something, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I mean, I could say that for any particular demographic within the black community.
I agree with that.
And I think you would agree with this also, particularly heterosexual black men.
What about them?
I find that a lot of these protests to protect black men from police brutality have been led by black women and black queer folk. And that's just being present at them. I also think that it is it's difficult to think that people are choosing their sexuality first. I mean, when people choose to ascend in terms of class to lead the majority of black people and exploit the majority of black population, you're Pan-African, right?
Yes.
Right, and so we understand that, class exploitation is extremely prevalent, especially globally when it comes to black bodies, right?
True. Racism is worse, though.
Right. So what do you think that the not the new house Negroes, but the continued house Negroes are those who are actually sitting in the house with the white people, class wise?
Okay. If they're sitting in the house with the white people, the question becomes: are they advocating for us, or are they simply there to collaborate with the oppressor?
Excellent point he just made. Because see, if they in the house with the white people, you know, they always talking about the first black this, we need black representation. Okay, they'll give us black representation if it's a hand-picked Negro like a Daniel Cameron up there that did not prosecute the racist soldiers that murdered our sister Breonna Taylor. They'll give you a Jim Clyburn, okay, in South Carolina that's not going to do nothing for the people. They will try to present a Stacey Abrams, a Karen Bass. Y'all get it. It goes on and on. Yeah, they'll give you representation as long as you towing the line for massa. So Umar just made a good point there. But I want y'all to hear how this caller's going to respond to that.
Are they?
I don't know. Who are we speaking of?
I mean, I would say roughly, I don't believe that there is a middle class, so I wouldn't even address those who are making under $1 million or so dollars a year. But those who have ascended past that marker of middle class status, what do you think that do you not think that
most of them are lined up with the white power structure? Most of them are lined up with the white power structure.
So I would say in terms of my politic that anti-capitalism is primary in terms of protecting black people globally.
Anti-racism, Queen. Anti-racism.
I also
you follow me? There would be no classism without the racism. White supremacy invented capitalism. Capitalism didn't invent white supremacy. Let me ask you this. If you take away class, do you still have racism?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So racism is the issue. In other words, let's destroy racism and its capitalist child.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how you deal with anybody that tries to switch the argument from racism to classism. Because Umar was absolutely correct in what he just stated there. And you're absolutely right there, brother. Project Leroy, that heifer Fountain Willis down here. We tried to tell people about that heifer. We tried to tell them, and now you see what she's doing. She can pull RICO charges out for every black person that she can find, but none for these white supremacists. But yes, I want y'all to pay close attention to this call because this goes to show you the many other issues that it has when it comes to us getting on code with some from the LGBTQ community. When they start trying to make the issue anything except the main issue, which is racism and white supremacy, then we not going to have the same agenda at that point. See, what they be trying to do when they do that, and I'm just going to say it like it is, they be trying not to offend their white friends for interracial sexual access. That's all it is. They can lie all they want because when you pin them down and say, okay, why do you have such a problem? Going straight directly at the issue and calling it what it is, racism and white supremacy. If you on a battlefield and you got tanks over the horizon coming to slaughter your unit, you better deal with them tanks for what they are. You can't say, okay, we got a bunch of field mice coming. No, you got to deal with tanks and get the ordnance prepared to take out tanks. That's what you do if you want to secure a victory on a battlefield. But let's let them continue.
Okay, so I would say that capitalism as a mode, as a global mode, was born out of the transatlantic slave trade, was born out of white supremacist ideology, etc. It is racialized capitalism. There is no separate. So when I say capitalism, I'm insinuating the inherency of racial and white supremacist ideology embedded in that.
What is your position on the black LGBT community uniting with and integrating with the white LGBT community? Where are you on that? Are you an LGBTQ integrationist? Are you a nationalist? Do you believe y'all should fight your own fight separate from the whites?
No, I'm pro-black, and I would urge the rest of black people to hop on that bandwagon to protect all black people, regardless of if they are cis heterosexual men or any of the other bodies who are typically experiencing intracommunal violence from cis heterosexual men. But yeah, so no, I think that the only people who are the closest that we can even get to in terms of like the house Negroes or the weakest links or the people who are exploiting us the most are actually straight and are actually men, because they are able to ascend in this patriarchal society in particular ways. Whether you want to look at statistics, whether you want to look at intracommunal violence, whether you want to, whatever you want to look at.
Okay,
right? I don't think
are you talking about straight black men? You're not saying straight black men are the culprits, are you?
Culprits.
Here we go. Listen to this.
Of what?
Of what you just spoke of. Those ills, the exploitation and all of that, because black men.
So I made two different points. I said that one, if we're going to talk about people who are quote unquote in the house Negroes, right, are the people who are able to ascend most and even participate in the exploitation of, right, the quote unquote field niggas, right? And so that has to do with class. That also has to do with the fact that we live under patriarchy, right? So that also has to do with the fact that you have men. But then if you also want to look at violence in our communities, right, perpetuating violence, I am pro-Black. I would like to reduce / eliminate the amount of violence experienced within Black communities. And so oftentimes, intra-communally, because we know violence is proximity-based, right? Black, cis, which means you born a man and you still identify as a man.
Wait, and clarify again, Z, what was your gender assigned at birth?
Well, I don't understand the relevancy of that.
No, because you answered it early. I just want to remember because somebody said, I called you queen because I thought you said your gender assigned at birth was a female. Was that correct?
No. I said I was queer. I said I was queer throughout this process.
No. I got the queer part, but what was your gender assigned at birth?
Right, I was assigned female at birth.
Okay, you was assigned female at birth. That's why I called you queen. Okay, so because somebody I'm on fan base. Just so you know, Z, as we have the conversation, I'm on my Facebook and I'm on fan base. And somebody on fan base said, did you call a man queen? But you was assigned the gender of female at birth, so I was appropriate. I thought they were saying I was misrepresenting. Okay, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
Now, see, I'm going to interject for a second here before we continue. This is why you don't hear me referring to everybody as queen. And I don't really want everybody referring to me as king because those are earned honorable titles. That should come with earned respect. And as we saw, if you all caught the Fox Soul interview where our brother Umar and our brother Dewan B were on there with that, what was the name? Giselle something on there. One of the T-class members. For me personally, when I first saw that, I knew that was a man. I knew it. I was like, yeah, and Omar just queen. And I'm sitting here like, you don't see this dude jawline, man. See, for me, I can spot him. Look, the only members of the T class that are really likely to fool most anybody are the Asian ones that already have those little feminine features. Their men have very feminine features, so it's not hard for them to get that hormone therapy and some surgery, and you really can't tell the difference. There are some over in Thailand, boy, you almost can't tell the difference between the men and the women over there. I'm just saying. But like, when I saw that Fox Soul segment where he was like, yeah, there it is, brother Project Leroy, Hope Giselle, what have you. I'm like, man, Umar, they're just queen. I'm like, no, man, see, that's what gets you into trouble when you do that. I understand why the brother does it, but see, I'm just making my position clear why you will never hear me doing that. One, because today, you have to be careful who you saying that to because it might be a man. And number two, not all women are worthy of that title, just like all men are not worthy of the title king. But let's let them continue.
You are misrepresenting me, but
okay, so
concerned with the language.
No, I want to be educated, Z. No, I want to be educated, sis. When I call you queen or sister based on the gender you was assigned at birth, is that disrespectful to you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Why is it disrespectful to you, and what would you prefer I call you?
Well, you can stay away from the royals because...
No. That's just who I am. You don't have no control over that. Do you understand where I'm coming? No. I want you to make sure you stay within the zone of what is eligible to be critiqued. In other words, I have Black women who will say, don't call me queen. It's not up to them because calling Black women queen is second... Stay with me. It's second nature. You understand? It's like I'll call a grandmother queen mother. She might say, I don't want to be called queen mother.
Let me pause this right here and I'm going to make this statement to make it clear. Again, I understand why the brother Umar does that. That's his right to do it. But see, let me tell you something that the brother doesn't understand. I don't think he understands my opinion that he does. I don't think he understands that when you hear certain women saying, don't call me queen, you cannot put makeup on a pig and turn it into anything other than a pig because it's going to be a pig whether you put a wig and makeup on it or not. So it's far beyond him to understand that some of these women that you calling queen, they know they're not worthy of that title. Look, let me tell y'all something right here. I know this is slightly off kilter here, but I'm going to say it. There's a reason why you see those running around out here like Suki Hunter that just tell you what it is. Nah, that's nobody that I would wife up or date or want nothing to do with, but she's an honest thought. And I guarantee you, if you started referring to her as queen, this or that, she would probably shut that down because she know, hey, listen, that's not, even if you think that, that's not what I am. I respect any woman with the sense enough to say, hey, listen, stop that. That's not me. That's not who I am. But see, Umar, with the way he tried to go about addressing our sisters, I get it. It's a respect thing, but you got to understand, man, you can't give somebody more respect than they're willing to give themselves. Let's let them continue.
Don't matter. I'm going to give you the title of respect, whether you like it or not. So for you, what would, okay, getting away from the royals, calling you sister would be disrespectful if I understand you. Correct?
If we working in the politics, you can call me comrade.
Okay, but comrade is political. Comrade is political.
Absolutely.
What would be the appropriate gender pronoun for you?
He, him.
He, him is a one? That's one?
He, him. I mean, it's a pronoun. You asked for the pronoun.
No. But what I'm saying is he, him, one pronoun, because that's two words. So is that a hyphen between them, or are you giving me two options? Are you saying call me he or call me him? Or is he, him a single descriptor? You follow where I'm coming from?
I mean,
are you putting those two together or those?
No.
Okay. So even though you was assigned female at birth, you identify as he. Am I correct?
Yeah, let's keep it simple. Yes.
Okay. I got you now.
Yeah.
Let me go to the next.
Yo, what's up? Yeah.
Peace and love, brother. Are you homosexual, bisexual?
I don't want to disclose. I don't think that it's relevant. I think the people who know in the audience, they know.
But
now look at how these callers he dealing with have such a hard time just coming out and stating what their orientation is. See, this goes to show you not only the duplicity of some in that community, but it also goes to show you that if you saying that you have pride and they always talking about the pride flag, the last time I checked, if you proud of something, you claim it all the way, right? If you say, this is like right now, if I tell you I'm a proud foundational Black American, and if you call me that, yes, I am full-blooded foundational Black American on both sides of my family. I'm proud to represent that history and culture. What you want to know? I'll tell you that all day long. Don't have a problem with you referring to me as that. Don't have a problem stating that that's what I am. So now, if you're going to be proud of something, what's all this shame about, or whatever you want to call it? What's the issue when the man asks you how you identify? Why you can't just state that? I'm just saying, but let's let him continue.
I need to know, brother, because you're having a conversation with me.
Well,
I mean,
is it Thursday? I'm straight today. It's Thursday.
What do you mean you straight today is Thursday, brother? Be honest with me, brother. Are you straight? Are you gay? What?
I really want to solve a problem.
Okay, and I'm going to let you solve that problem, Brandon. But Brandon, tell me how you identify, brother. What's wrong with telling me?
I'm poor.
You're poor. I'm asking about your sexual orientation, brother. Come on now.
I've been here for a while. I don't mind sharing that with you.
Just tell me, brother, and then you could go right into your point. I just want to know your frame of reference, brother. That's.
How about allow me the courtesy of going into my point?
Okay, go ahead. I'm with you. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Brother.
So, what I think you're looking at, if the question is to be legitimized, is what you're really examining is a particular thing that plagues all Black movement, which is vibrational disharmony. You've got people who appear to be in community, people who seem to share a perspective or a desire for justice, but when you sort of investigate and interrogate their value system or their priorities, you realize that there's a lot of distance between why some people are showing up and why other people are showing up, and that we're not all actually actively trying to achieve these big radical systemic changes.
Okay.
But I think the core issue with your question is suggest that the only predators or the only traitors on the plantation landscape were house Negroes, when in fact there were people who were in the fields who also executed traitorism, that also executed being predators.
That is correct. That is correct.
And so I think that politically, I think that in terms of value added, in terms of the weight that's been carried by one particular subgroup of black people or the other. I do think that it's important to humble people who call themselves straight.
What do you mean by humbling people who call themselves straight? What do you mean by that?
I'll make the point that very much so you are a myth as it relates to the volume and the weight of what you contributed to any of the radical movements around the black community. I mean, you've been present, but mostly for cerebral labor. But the places in which people experience harm, violence, negligence, I should say neglect, being in community but out of community at the same time, but also adding really invaluable things to our master narrative of progress as black people on the globe. Well, those people had some lean toward what this brother described earlier, Z described earlier as queerism, and you've used terms like homosexuality and some other things.
Is there something wrong with using the word homosexuality?
Well, no, I don't think that, but I do think if you want to assert your straightness, again, if you want to assert that, I do think you have to understand that even tone matters in trying to investigate that, and that in many cases, like I heard you say something earlier with regard to, well, I can't judge you, or I'm not against it. Well, you're in no position of authority to judge or be against it, because you don't exist in a hierarchy based off your expression of sexuality in proximity to someone else's expression.
But we're talking about us exclusively within the black community, my brother. So we're not dealing with the larger hierarchy of the white power structure. We're talking about us living in the same community as black people. What exactly does LGBTQ stand for, so heterosexuals can better understand your movement? Not that we're necessarily going to agree with it, but at least we can understand you.
You just said it again. Not that we're necessarily going to agree with it,
because we may not. Some people might. Some people may not. There's people who agree with me, and there's people who don't. That's just a part of life, Brother Brent.
But you would not make that same statement as to say you may not agree with me being straight. You wouldn't say that same thing. And so in making that statement, which seems very passive and unaggressive, you're making a very problematic assertion about the authority that straightness has over anything else, as if everything else is alternative to straightness, which in fact I'd argue is not.
Okay, do this for me, Brother Brent. I got you. Can you?
The word of the day is syllogism.
Okay.
You do not have sex or choose partners in the way that you would like to, truly, under white supremacy.
Wait, say that again. You do not choose sex. Give me.
You do not have sex or choose partners in the way that you would like to.
We do not have sex or choose partners in the way we would like to under white supremacy. What do you mean by that?
That in some very unfortunate ways, wherever you see yourself on what they call a spectrum, that we are all inhibited and restricted in how we express ourselves.
Y'all see how insane this is, trying to talk to people that have this mindset? He going all over the place, can't stay focused on anything and answer one direct question so that you can have a sensible conversation that progresses towards some type of logic. I'm letting this play for a reason. I want y'all to see this. I'm not making this up. This ain't edited. This is the actual conversation as it was going on at the time.
Through procreation, through partnership, through community, through the very simple function of the orgasm, as it relates to the way that we are all under the surveillance of white supremacy, that basically says that has always said and continues to say very subtly that black sex should be illegal, that it is amoral, that our sexuality is something other, in the same way that you, as a straight person, would like to other this thing, homosexual, queer. White supremacy certainly others black sexuality, all black sexuality. Understand that. The white supremacy others and takes away the normality and the value of all black sexuality. It's always important when you're on a stage that when a person makes an important statement that you amplify that statement. And I would agree with the good brother Z. Anti-capitalism is primary.
No, it's not. White supremacy is primary. White supremacy invented capitalism.
We would agree. I said I would agree.
I understand that, and I'm just clarifying my position that without white supremacy, there is no capitalism. They invented it. Capitalism is the economic system of white supremacy.
Are there LGBTQ agents and ops in the black community? Yes.
I'm sure.
But are there also are there straight agents and ops in the black community? Yes.
I agree. Yes, sir. Nobody said it wasn't. I didn't say that the LGBT community represents the sum total of all degeneracy in the black community. I never said that.
And we know that's true because we understand that we can experience anti-blackness in predominantly black spaces. And so I hope that your conversation evolves to somewhat of a solutions-oriented thing, but I would caution you.
But you didn't give us a single solution, Brother Brandon. How are you going to say you want the conversation to evolve to solutions, my brother? You didn't give us not one solution.
Well, I have a book of them. Do you really want them? Or
Sure.
Should I make policy? I run a policy group. It's called Campaign X.
Okay, so in Campaign X, can I ask you a question? And then we got to let you go to move on to some more speakers. But I appreciate you, Brother Brandon, for joining us, brother. What are the 3 major policies you're working on right now in your policy group? Quickly, name the 3 major policies you're working on.
A $33 minimum wage. We also need to rewrite HR 40 so that we can distribute equitably reparations in this country. And statehood for the District of Columbia to ensure that they receive electoral vote representation and also receive legitimate representation of in both houses.
See, now notice this is somebody that don't even know what's going on the grassroots, because see, if he was on code and was well informed, he would understand that HR 40 is a nothing burger. It's just a study. It is not a bill for reparations. It is a bill to study reparations and kick the can down the road. We are not on that. We are following the California model. Shout out to our brothers and sisters over there in California in the grassroots that are pushing forward the lineage-based reparations movement. See, this person is so far out the loop, they don't even know what's going on because they're too tied up in trying to play these word salad games about gender and their sexual orientation. Just let them continue.
Congress and a structured government that ideally would be majority black and ideally would elevate policies that would improve the overall quality of life for all Washingtonians, whether or not, well, I should say residents of the Douglas Commonwealth. Even though that's not where I live, I went to school there and have been deeply immersed in an understanding of the hardships that have historically been faced by blacks there. So $33 minimum wage, rewrite the reparations bill, because it is not equitable, it's not trustworthy at this point, and statehood for the District of the Douglas Commonwealth.
And I can respect that. And I can respect that. And all 3 of those that you mentioned, it sounds like they would benefit all black people, not just LGBTQ, correct?
I would say that every single one of those policies for me was drafted from the Constitution, from me constituting myself from the position of the queer and bi and gay members of our society. And that's what makes it more valuable for everybody else.
Huh? So I didn't understand that. Those policies will benefit all black people.
It wasn't meant for you to understand it, Umar, because the name of the game is confusion and delusion. I titled the broadcast that for a reason, ladies and gentlemen.
People, correct? That includes gay and straight, correct?
Yes, I just made the important observation that when writing those policies, I didn't constitute myself from seeing myself as a straight black man.
No, not as a straight black man, but as a member of the a member of the black community, correct?
And identifying which identities in my community face the greatest systemic hardships and the greatest exclusion, intercommunity, intraracial, interracial, and it would be true that in all of those particular situations that there has to be some hyper focus on people who have disabilities, people who have social disabilities, people who have socially disadvantaged identities, and yes, those are LGBTQ people.
Okay, so you saying so Brandon, question Brandon, in your reparations bill, you have a special component of reparations just for the LGBTQ.
In the discourse, in the actual bill, no, but in the discourse that's going to lead to what will become a bill, yeah, there's a particular focus group for the interest of black identifying, black activists, black abolitionists, queer identity. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Thanks a lot for that, Brother Brand.
There is an interest group for disabled persons, as there is an interest group for elder persons to contribute to this policy. But we begin at the level at which we see the most harm being done, and we cannot deny that in fact the group that you are choosing to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So now you saw the end of that. I let that segment play where Umar was engaging those callers right there so that you will understand the level of confusion and delusion that we're dealing with a segment of that community. How problematic it can be if we allow them to come amongst us and shift the goalposts and start trying to center their sexuality ahead of producing justice for the whole of black society, which includes them, and getting reparations for the whole of foundational Black American Freedmen Society, which includes them. And there is no reason to center their sexuality in any of that. The minute that they start doing that, they're on something else. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you learned something here tonight on this broadcast. We're going to see if they let it stay up because, I already know I offended quite a few people over here today. But as we draw this to a close, I'd like to remind you yet again, celebrating the foundational Black American holiday Areta Suse is going to be celebrated December 24th of this month, the first time we're going to be celebrating it. I would like to also encourage you to sign up for the Areta Suse run that's going to be held down in Tampa, Florida. Our host of the event is going to be the Sister Dr. Kenny. And I want you to go over there and give the Areta Suse Run Instagram a follow. The links are in the chat room. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all in future content. Salute to you. Fight the confusion. Black first.
There are a lot of misconceptions about Maroons. Typically in literature, whites will say that the Maroons were uncivilized, they were unorganized, they were lewd, they were barbaric. These were the people who lived in the bush.
There is no other group on the planet Earth that have taken on the devil the way we have, in his own house.
Some estimates say that there are about 50,000 Maroons that you can find per year throughout the Americas.
The Great Dismal Swamp was an area between that Virginia, North Carolina, the eastern border area. This was a popular area for a lot of not only runaways, but natives. A lot of the black natives hung out there. The Gullah Geechee were known in that area.
Because that's who we are. You can put us anywhere in the world. We are survivors.
If you are really tapped in with your environment and you become one with that ecosystem, right? You know what I'm saying? That ecosystem begins to work with you.
We were robbed of our definition of our nationality and our tribe, and we fell into the description of what we were from someone else's eyes.
Resistance is not just about not only violence and physically fighting back, but there has to be resistance literature, resistance language.
A whole 2 detachments of U.S. soldiers got mowed down by the Black Seminoles. They destroyed an entire U.S. military force. Out of 110 people, they killed 108. That's damn good shooting.
The Black Seminoles were using all types of guerrilla warfare tactics, and these warfare tactics are studied in military schools to this day.
They didn't like Muslim slaves. The same reason they didn't like Indian slaves, because they weren't afraid to die.
Once you realize you're not safe, your children and your families aren't safe, the people who you're bringing in the world are not going to be safe long after you, there becomes a need to stand up and survive at all costs.
We are the Maroons. We are today's Maroons. We are the force that's moving forward. We will never be stopped.